One of the biggest issues that has long held back video games as an art form is the disconnect between game design and storytelling. Unlike other mediums such as literature, music, and film, video games continue to struggle to tell truly engaging stories. Even the best games the industry has ever produced rarely ever tell stories that truly say something or express an idea in a meaningful and considerate way. And the reason for this is quite simple. Video games are first and foremost games, and as such rely on systems, goals, and challenges to entertain and sustain interest in the player. Gameplay is the single most important factor, and if a game isn't fun to play, then it has failed wholeheartedly. And so understandably, game designers and creators focus on getting this aspect as perfect as possible over other elements. This isn't to say that video games haven't made major advancements in regards to their storytelling capabilities. Indeed, some of the best stories of our generation have been told through video games. However, such games are few and far between. Most still suffer from their inability to express themselves in ways wholly unique to the medium. Take The Last of Us, for example, largely considered to be one of the finest achievements in video game storytelling. Its two leads, Joel and Ellie, are very compelling and multi-dimensional characters, and their journey and growth together is the emotional driving force of the game and its story. But when you really think about it, does any of that have anything to do with the actual game, the parts where you are sneaking around clickers and taking out dangerous bandits? A person could sit down and watch The Last of Us with all the gameplay bits removed and be just as emotionally engaged as a player. Gameplay and story are two separate entities, disconnected from each other. The game has to stop at various instances to tell its story in a more traditional and cinematic way, and this is largely the way most video games have been doing things for a long time. There is the game, and there is the story surrounding the game, which provides context for why the player has to get from A to B. Thankfully, there have been exceptions to this trend, and one of the most notable recent examples is the critically lauded PlayStation exclusive Journey. A spiritual follow-up to Flow and Flower, Journey continues and further refines developer Thatgamecompany's core design philosophy of provoking an emotional reaction from the player. In Journey, you play as a mysterious robed individual on a mission to reach the top of a massive mountain looming in the distance. As you make your way across the endless desert, perhaps even running into some fellow travelers along the way, you explore the ruins of a lost civilization while growing your scarf, which helps you fly and more easily traverse the environment. But Journey isn't really about its plot. In fact, what is there has been done before, and exploring ancient ruins is a common narrative device in video games, but it is used more effectively here than in almost every other similarly structured game, and that's because it serves not just to tell a story, but to contribute and contextualize the overall themes and feelings the game is meant to provoke in the player. As its name suggests, Journey is about the voyage of life from its beginning all the way to its end, its ups and downs, and who we encounter along the way. And while most games would make this theme explicit through a straightforward story, characters, and dialogue, Journey has none of that, and instead expresses itself in a way only video games can, through game design. The game begins with you alone in a desert, and this first level is used mostly to teach you how to play. You are isolated and drawn in by the mysterious nature of the world you are exploring, and you are limited in what you can experience. Upon moving onto the second level, suddenly the world opens up. There is a lot more space to explore and various secrets to find, and once you are ready to move on, a bridge creates a clear path forward. While there is more room to explore, you are still being guided forward, and making progress is easygoing and effortless. However, it is after this that the game really expands. You are given a desert significantly larger in size to explore. So massive in scope is this level compared to the others that the path forward feels daunting and intimidating. The atmosphere is calm and easygoing, but with a hint of uncertainty, and for the first time you're kind of unsure what to do or where to go. While still being guided by the flying carpets, you have to rely a bit more on yourself to figure things out and uncover all the mysteries. The next level is when things get really fun. The atmosphere immediately changes, becoming jovial and carefree. Almost the entire level consists of you surfing and sliding down hills of sand without a care in the world. It's beautiful, adventurous, and full of wonder, but that wonder is fleeting, as suddenly you are dropped into the abyss of a dark and ominous cavern. All the euphoric bliss you had been experiencing is abruptly changed into dread for what lies ahead and what you'll be leaving behind. Upon entering the tunnels, the journey becomes dangerous. You are met with a dark, foreboding, threatening atmosphere, and for the first time you have to evade massive flying machines called Guardians that will attack you if spotted. If this happens, the length of your scarf will be reduced, taking away some of your progress, thus making maneuverability more difficult. There is also a noticeable shift towards upward mobility as you use the seaweed and jellyfish-esque cloth creatures to push towards the top. It ends with a thrillingly tense descent into the next stage, which is even more vertically designed. Here you have to find glyphs and activate them to raise the water level, allowing you to quickly rise to the top. The end is fastly approaching at this point, and before you know it, you're at the base of the mountain, where you are faced with strong, overwhelmingly cold winds that drain the power of your scarf, forcing you to slowly trudge forward. There are more guardians to evade, and the closer you get, the weaker you become. You are cold and tired and desperate, and despite pushing forward with all your might, you collapse in the snow. Death is certain. But then 6 white-robed figures seemingly revive you to full power, and you ascend to the peak of the mountain. You fly like a feather floating in the wind, higher and higher, and the experience is heavenly and rapturous. You finally reach the peak, the end of your journey. A star appears to shoot forth from the peak, viewed by the next traveler attempting to make the same journey. It really is an incredible gaming experience that words can't do justice, and the reason for that can be attributed to the way the levels are designed and ordered. Each level is a stage of life, reflecting the distinct feelings and emotions associated with that stage. The early levels are full of wonder, mystery, exploration, and joy, reflecting the innocence of childhood. The descent into the tunnels recall the feelings of anxiety and uncertainty we all feel when childhood leaves us and the responsibility of adulthood comes knocking, while the ascent up the temple represents the quickening of time as it passes us by, pushing us closer to our inevitable death, which you face head-on while traversing up the cold mountain slopes. You slow down, everything becomes harder, and eventually you die, and upon your death, you ascend to the heavens, where everything is more glorious and transcendental. It even ends with you walking into the light, while another begins the journey right behind you. And the true beauty of all this is that it is expressed without a single word of dialogue or explicit plot points, just pure game design aided by phenomenal visuals and an unforgettably gorgeous soundtrack. It's what Thatgamecompany does so well and makes their games truly special. No matter who you are or where you come from, Journey is able to emotionally provoke just about anyone. But it doesn't end there. Journey has a multiplayer component that adds even more subtext to the experience. When you encounter another player, their username is never revealed and you can't interact through voice chat. Instead, you are forced to communicate through simple sound cues. And instead of being a liability like you might think, these restrictions actually enhance the bond you forge with a total stranger. There's no ability to troll or ruin the experience for another player, and without the preconception of gender, nationality, or religion, you and your companion are free to interact on the game's terms. It's oddly liberating, and you will find yourself genuinely caring about the other player. You'll play little musical games with each other using the sound cues. You'll want to stick by their side and make sure they find the same secrets you did. And when you see them take a hit, you want to rush to them and see if they are okay. Even more brilliant is that you aren't even guaranteed to play through with the same person, or even with anyone at all. Some playthroughs you'll be alone, others you'll make it all the way through with one partner, and others with multiple partners. This multiplayer is elegant in its simplicity, and further adds to Journey's artistic expression. And when you finally discover all the secrets Journey has to offer, it rewards you with a white robe that acts to differentiate you from other players, adding even more subtext to the multiplayer. The white robe signifies those who have mastered the game, and both encountering and playing as a white-robed character contextually feels different, almost like you get to be a guardian angel guiding a younger, more inexperienced traveler on their journey. All this means is that there's a ton of replay value. Its short length makes Journey an easy game to sit down and play in one sitting, and with its remarkably distinct multiplayer design, no experience is ever exactly the same. All this should serve to highlight just why Journey is such a significant and important game. Through the workings of all its design elements, it's capable of making you feel awe, wonder, optimism, isolation, fear, and loneliness. And should you run through the game with another player, you'll experience these feelings with a total stranger and even grow to care about them despite never saying a word to each other. All of these feelings and emotions the game is able to mine from the player creates a microcosmic experience of life itself, and it comes from the game mechanics Thatgamecompany expertly crafted to achieve this effect. It is no accident. It is purposeful and deliberate game design meant to express an idea in a way only a video game can, and it is for this reason that it remains one of the quintessential examples of the artistic merit of the medium, and a model of what video games are truly capable of achieving. So those are my thoughts on Journey. I know it's an older game, but it's special and still worth diving into after all this time. If you have played Journey, please let me know how it made you feel in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to Immediate Res for more analysis of not just video games, but film and television as well. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you in the next video.